Don't tell
She
people.
invited me to her
They're gonna
house.
get back.
We sat down, just my partner Rocky, one of her, I don't know what it was at work or what it was for her, and another friend of mine, somebody.
Yeah.
My shoes. A kid told me one time, "Hey, man, I always dreamed of having some Jordans." And I looked at his shoes and I slipped my Jordans right off and gave them to him. And those were $1,800 Jordans.
Yeah.
And he said, "Bro, I'm not asking you for your shoes." I said, "I'm not telling you. You asking me, I'm giving them to you, you know?" So I gave them to him, and then he was like, "Well, what do I do with my shoes?" I said, "I ain't putting them on." So I'm walking barefoot, bro. I hopped back in my car and I left. But I mean, did I lose? No.
Yeah.
Maybe that inspired him to do more.
I feel like karma.
You know?
I believe in karma. Do you?
Yeah, of course.
What you do, you get back.
Of course. I
Yeah.
believe in it. Karma's a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know? And I always believe in doing good, man. I promised God, my partner, me and my partners, we did, and we promised each other as well that we're always going to help the community. We're always going to give back, no matter what. Yesterday, I had a really good, important meeting yesterday. I met with the mayor, with Karen Bass. She invited me to her house. We sat down, just my partner Rocky, one of her, I don't know what it was at work or what it was for her, and another friend of mine. And we sat down on the couch at the Getty house. Bro, it was crazy. It was bad. It was amazing. And we're sitting there talking about life. We're not talking about what are we gonna do, what are we gonna experience, or we're talking about life, bro. You know, we meet each other. You know, and it's incredible how I never believed in voting for her, right?
Yeah.
I'm into politics. I love politics.
Yeah.
I don't vote for a lot of people, but I'm into politics. I love that politician life. And I told her, I said, I wasn't into you. I didn't know who you were. I didn't know anything about you. I said, and my nieces put me on to you. You know, they told me about you. And then I met with Caruso and kind of seen that there was no purpose in him, you know, coming over here. I think it was more of I didn't believe in him as what he was trying to do, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was trying to do better. I don't know, whatever. But Karen Bass, where she comes from, her ex-husband was Chicano. You know, her stepkids are Mexican,
Right.
You know, her personal life that I don't want to talk about, but that we got to share with each other, and the love that she has for the Chicano culture, and how much she knows about the Chicano culture, and how much she knows about Chicano old activists that I knew of and that I didn't know of.
Yeah.
And she put me on game on a lot of them because she was an activist herself, and I didn't know that. So now it made me respect her more as a person than only the mayor of LA. But I did wanted her to promise me that she's going to look out for our people. And she said, "You're going to help me do that." And I was like, "All right, cool, bet." So I told her it's not only about housing. It's not only about, you know, I think they brought up a real good point, mental illness. You know, us and our family and our households growing up in the neighborhoods and in the hood, there's a lot of mental illness going on and we don't address it. You know, a lot of kids out there, a lot of homies of mine that are doing life in prison right now or are dead because of them thinking different than we did.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of these kids in the neighborhoods do need that help. They need that mentality help or that mental help. And we don't give it to them. Or we're sometimes afraid, or sometimes even the parents are afraid to say their kids are mentally ill, you know, and that's not cool.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a huge awareness we need to bring up because that I think that has a lot to do with the homeless. You know, with the homelessness is going on right now in LA.
Yeah.
And bro, you know, we're both, I don't know if you're Mexican American.
Yeah. I'm
You know,
Mexican American.
all right. Yo también.
From DF.
And trip out on this. Yesterday I learned that 44% of the homeless are Mexican American.
Really?
And to me that was sad, bro, because why is it a growth in our culture? Excuse me. In our culture, why wouldn't I rather see that there's a 44% growth in our culture being lawyers, doctors, or more entrepreneurs, right? Because I didn't have an entrepreneur Mexican American or Latino that I said I want to be like him.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Who was that person that I still to this day admire? Puff Daddy, Master P, Russell Simmons. You know, people that were in the music industry. You know, Dr. Dre. That now I know and speak to not on a daily, but you know, whenever we need to. And bro, it's like now we get to experience that And I want kids to be like, I want to be like that dude, but I want to be an example.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a fuck up.
Yeah.
I don't want to teach them the bad, because we're all bad people and good people, bro. We all have both sides.
Yeah.
Right? There's some things we do bad, and there's most of the things that we try to do are good.
Yeah.
We hope, right? But let's teach our kids that. Let's teach the youth that. That's my goal, to open the way.
I went to Tony Robbins to see Tony Robbins a long time ago, and that's what got me into the events that I have. We're going on 8 years of the Driven event. So we have a big event in October, like 2,000 plus people.
Nice.
And then we have the business boot camp. That's the one that just happened. We have about 400 people that go to that one. That's more business. But the big one, like I want to be like the Mexican Tony Robbins.
Of course.
That inspires and teaches our Latino community. Like our audience, 80% are Latino Americans of everybody that goes to those events. So that's I think me and you can help a lot of people like that.
I heard, I don't know how true it is, but I've heard in real estate, it's like 70% Mexican American that are involved in the real estate in LA.
Yeah.
That hold licenses.
It sounds right, yeah.
And to me, it's like, that's a huge number. But why are we not the leaders of it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't want you to be Tony Robbins. I want you to be you.
Yeah.
I want you to be the man your way.
Yeah.
Right? Because
there is a risk there that people are just like so empowered to like do one-off solutions that they never build like product. They never build like.
Somebody once taught me one thing.
Yeah.
And I said, man, I want to be like Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
And they say, you know what? You're better than Puff Daddy. And I said, fuck, no, I'm not. They say, yeah, you are, bro, because you're on your own mission. So you have to be better than Puff Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you admire, you got to overachieve him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've done a hell of a job, like going back. And I appreciate that consejo, because it was from somebody that was very successful in life.
Yeah.
And when they told me that, it was like I took that in consideration.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, you're right. I'm going to be better than you.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to be a Puff Daddy. I want to be a Jimmy Humilde.
Yeah.
Right? That's who I want to be.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, I want to be there for our audience and for our kids and for people to learn. And I go through your comments, bro. I follow you. I really follow you. Like,
yeah.
And it's been years. It's not something
it's crazy. It's crazy that 2018 you sent me a DM.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2018. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah.
Hey Jimmy, I know your time is very valuable. So before